Yo, peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love, family. Happy Sunday. Happy, solid, and soulful Sunday. Hope you all are doing well on this Sunday. I'm your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. You are tuned into another episode of Sunday Light, another week. We come here every Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to share some words of encouragement, some words of empowerment, of enlightenment, to do maybe some education, to feel the spirit, to calm the mind, to open the mind, right? To settle the heart, maybe purify the heart, maybe open the heart, right? Some things that in your heart you need to open up. But we come here Sundays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And today we are going to talk about the importance of the freedom fighter and revolutionary. The importance of the freedom fighter and revolutionary. The importance of having that freedom fighter and revolutionary. The importance of that within us, and the importance of that spirit amongst us, right? To acknowledge that spirit, to nurture that spirit, and to protect that spirit. Again, that spirit that lives inside of us, that freedom fighting spirit, that revolutionary spirit that's inside of us, as well as that which we notice amongst us in our community, in our city, in our state, in the world, right? If we notice anyone who is a freedom fighter, who is fighting for the freedom of the people, if we notice anyone who is a revolutionary, who is going against societal norms, because societal norms are creating conditions of poverty, conditions of despair, conditions of conflict, of violence, right? To recognize that person, to recognize those people, and to support them, right? How important they are. A lot of times, like even if you go back in history, there are a lot of people who were revolutionaries, who were freedom fighters, who weren't supported during their lives. They were made martyrs. They were outcasted, even by the people they were fighting for, the people that they were freaking revolting against the system for. They were criticized. They was freaking ridiculed by them. But in their death, right, whether they were murdered, right, there were people ancient times who were beheaded because they spoke against or they went against societal norms. They were beheaded because they spoke truth to power, right? They were locked away. They became political prisoners, right? They were burnt at the stake, right? Many people who were revolutionaries, who were freedom fighters, were not supported by their own people. Yet in their death, years later, people then make their names big and talk about how important they were. But it's important that we recognize them. And we support them, and we acknowledge them, those who are our current political prisoners, right? Those who are our past political prisoners who may have either died in prison, right, or who have become free. There were a few, right, who have become free. I met Veronda Bowles, who did over 50 years in prison. 50 years in prison. I mean, there's so many others. Right? There's still a fight to get Mumia Abu-Jamal home, right? We know Assata Shakur just transitioned. So many freedom fighters. But as we get into it, before we get deeper into it, we are going to do a prayer. We're going to burn some sage. All right, we're going to light some sage this morning, this Sunday morning. Welcome those who are coming in. Miss E with a Z, thank you for tuning in. J Connects, thank you for tuning in. Champ, what's going on? The Kong Show on TV, what's going on? Cali77 Rumble, what's going on? Sister Peace and Love, thank you for tuning in. Let's burn some sage, guys, and let's get into a prayer. Because we know how important prayer is. We know how important setting good intentions and putting them out there into the universe. All right, speaking what's on our hearts, claiming that which we need to go forward, that which we could use to propel us forward. We know how important it is to claim that and to command that into ourselves, into our lives, into the lives of people that we love. And so today's prayer, I want to pray specifically for the revolutionaries and the freedom fighters. I want to pray for their safety. I want to pray for their good health and longevity. I want to pray that every freedom fighter and every revolutionary is supported by the people that they are fighting for, is protected by the people they are fighting for. I pray that every single freedom fighter and revolutionary has a long and healthy life. Although we know that this may not be true for all, I pray strongly. I pray that the life is fulfilling, even if it may be cut short. I pray that the life of the freedom fighter, the life of the revolutionary is fulfilling, even if it may not be long. I pray that each of us awakens the spirit inside of us that is revolutionary and that wants to fight for freedom. I pray that we listen to that spirit. I pray that we follow that spirit. I pray that we have the courage to embrace that spirit inside of us that is a freedom fighter and a revolutionary, the spirit of maybe our grandfathers and our grandmothers and those ascended masters that lived hundreds and thousands of years before us. I pray that we embrace their spirit that still lives on today. It may be calling you right now. There may be some things going on in your neighborhood, in your family, in your city, in your state, and in the world that you do not like. I pray that you have the courage to speak up. I pray that you have the courage to act. Not just to speak, but to act, to organize. I pray that you have the wherewithal to organize and to strategize and fight for your people, to fight for yourself, remembering that you indeed are part of the race, part of the community. You are parcel of not just the community, but you are part and parcel of the divine. So you have a right, you have a responsibility and an obligation to fight as a human for your own liberation, for your own salvation, for your own freedom, for yourself to be heard, to be valued, to be respected, to be seen, and to be felt. And for that same right of your children, you have an obligation to fight for your children, to fight for your siblings, and to even fight for your parents who may be old, well, who are older than you. You have the divine right to fight for them, to fight for your grandparents, to fight for your ancestors, to fight for the descendants who are not even born yet into your bloodline. You have an obligation to fight for them. So I pray that you hear the call. I pray that you assess yourself where you are, what cause that you care about most. And I pray that you have the courage, the heart, and I pray that you get part of the community, become part of an organization that is fighting for the causes that you care about. Whether it is adequate housing or enough food for people, adequate food and enough food. I pray that you fight to end mass incarceration. I pray that you fight. I pray that you fight for adequate housing and everything that matters to you. I pray that you have the courage and the spirit to fight for what you believe in. And in your fight, I pray that you are protected. I pray that you are guided towards the light, guided towards people who care about you, people who will nourish you, people who will fuel you, people who make you realize that your work is not in vain. I pray that you have all the support that you need as you go forward in your mission as a freedom fighter and as a revolutionary. With that, I say ashe, 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 oh, ashe. Thanks. So, the importance of the freedom fighter and revolutionary. So one thing I've learned, family, right? One thing I've learned in my 41 years of living, one thing I've learned is there's always going to be some people in society, in our families, in our communities, who are just going to complain, right? Not everyone is going to have the same spirit. Not everyone is going to want to go against the grain, right? People are going to complain about something. They're going to recognize a problem. They're going to complain about the problem, but not everyone's going to do something. And if all of us live like that, if each and every one of us complains, and doesn't do anything, speak out, write letters, right, organize in our neighborhood to provide solutions, if all of us avoid that responsibility, then we make no progress. And our children inherit the same effed up world that we live in. If all of us just complain and nobody wants to take action, nobody wants to go against the grain, right? It's like I forgot what it's called. I was just reading it yesterday. It's called is one of these cognitive biases, right? Like if we all can notice something, but if the people around us are not doing anything, even if we want to do something, we'll just be like, I don't want to be the oddball, right? I don't want to be the one to be singled out. I don't want to be the one. Why not? It's uncomfortable. Of course it is, right? But what's more uncomfortable? To be the odd one that speaks out, it speaks up, and that fights for something that you believe in, something that you know is right, right? Or to just live your life uncomfortable, to live your life hoping, wishing, and praying for somebody else to intercede and come save you. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. There are people who have lived to be 80, 90, even 100 years old in our own communities who never stood up, who never fought for anything, who lived their whole life complaining and waiting for someone else to come do something. Oh, it's their job. It's the government's job. It's the school system's job, right? It's my parents' job. It's my brother's job. He should do it. He ain't doing nothing else. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? What are you doing to free your own self? What are you doing to be active in your own liberation and salvation? This is very important. You have the responsibility. Now, again, what I know is that not everyone is going to take on that responsibility. Not everyone thinks they even have the responsibility. Again, they think it's someone else's responsibility. Not everyone is going to like take on that role of, it's my job. So cool, it's not you, right? It's not you. It may not be you, and that's okay, all right? It's not really okay, but like it's nothing, nobody can force you to do it. So like it is what it is. However, if it's not you, and you know the person who is doing that, you see people in your neighborhood, you see people on the news, you hear about people, support them as much as you can. Show up, right? Phone bank for them, right? Perfect example, right now in New York City, you got Mamdani running for mayor. Zohran Mamdani running for mayor. He's leading in all the polls, right? He will most likely win the election on Tuesday, all right? Before him deciding to run, all right, before he launched his campaign right here in Queens, or had Connect, he did his campaign launch right at Connect the Chefs lot, at our lot in Long Island City. Before that, there were people complaining. There were many people complaining about Eric Adams, many people complaining about the current establishment, about things that need to be done, things that should be done. Many of those people, I ain't running. For whatever reason, they feel like not qualified. They feel it's somebody else's job, right? Whatever the reason is, they were complaining, but they would not run. Mamdani runs. He builds momentum. A lot of those people are phone banking. A lot of those people are organizing outside, passing out flyers or getting signatures, right? So like, support the person. Support the people who you see as someone who is doing what you think should be done. Support them. Be on their side. Right? If there's someone who you see doing the right thing, there's someone who you see going against the status quo, going against the establishment, right? In whatever capacity. Not saying that Zohran is your person. Just an example of when somebody is doing something that you think should be done and you are not the one doing it, support them. Figure out what support they need. Figure out how you can help them get the job done. Figure that out. Ask yourself and then ask around. Hey, how can I get involved with this organization? Hey, how can I get down with you guys? Listen, I think I got some value to add. Even if it's phone banking, even if it's collecting signatures outside in the streets, even if it's doing none of that and just talking to people, not collecting signatures, not phone banking, passing out flyers and talking to people and telling people about what's going on, about the mission, about this organization, about this person running for this position, about this person launching this business, about this person, wanting to institute this idea, implement this idea. Spread the word. Spread the good news. Spread the good news. That's what they say, right? Spread the good news. Spread the good news. Talk about it. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't just sit in your house, right? When you know change needs to happen, when you know change needs to be made, and you know that you're not the one implementing the change on a big scale, that you know it should happen on, and you see somebody is, you see a group of people are doing that, support them. Figure out how you can feed them, right? Cook for them. Right? Like cook for them. Make them food. Say, hey, come eat. Come eat. Come eat with us. I got food for you guys. Right? Figure out if they need money for, if they got whether it's their home, right, that they're organizing out of, or they have a space. Figure out what help they may need with utilities, with rent, right, with mortgage. Hey, listen, I can contribute money every month, right? I can help clean every month, right? Every week. I can, whatever it is, figure out how you can support the freedom fighters and revolutionaries of your time. Because we are living in a time, boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we need every single freedom fighter and revolutionary to step up. And clearly, each freedom fighter and revolutionary that steps up needs a community behind them to support them. And there's so many ways to support somebody. So many ways to support somebody, right? I am a freedom fighter and revolutionary. One way I could use support is like help me figure out like how to organize better. Come, let's talk. Help me figure out how to like spread my services and speak in more spaces, right? Spread this message. Help me figure that out, right? Be a thought partner. Help people think through things. Help people see things they may not see, because sometimes when you're out there, right? When you're out there, not that you just have tunnel vision because you see broadly, but there may be some stuff you miss, right? There may be people who you miss that you can have on your team, right? Again, this is something that I'm actively striving to do, is to build a team. How do I build a team? Team building is not an easy thing. People think you need a team. Yeah, we all need a team, but it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing for many reasons, right? To communicate to people what it is that you're doing, what it is you need help with, right? Then to have those people around you, be able to delegate, right? It's not an easy thing. So many people go at it alone. All right. So as someone who is a freedom fighter, as someone who is a revolutionary, right? Who is building, part of building, right? More people-centered, people-powered, equitable food system. As someone who is, addressing issues around mental health, around mass incarceration, around violence, right? Community violence and police violence. As someone who has addressed so many different issues, fighting for equitable housing, affordable housing, right? So many different issues that I'm fighting for, and so many different causes that I've been involved in and I am involved in. It's not easy, man. Right? You need people who to like send you good energy, right? That's one thing. You need people to constantly send you good energy, because not only do we fight for outside world, we fight in our own families. We fight for our own selves. We fight to be healthy, fight against our own freaking conditioning, right? So like it takes a lot to fight for other people when you're also fighting for yourself. And then some of us, a lot of us, we're parents, right? We're parents, and that comes with its own challenges, right? Simply of parenting, like two household, married, parenting is still challenging. Children grow up and they develop their own ideas. And even if they're following your ideas, they're still children. They're still going to be educated. They're still going to have opinions. They're still going to end up dating. They're still going to end up having their girls having freaking cycles, and right, like hormones and puberty. Is tons of different things are going to happen where you as an individual, no matter how committed to a cause you are, challenges are going to arise. And I like to say, right, something I like to think, I recognize is true, right? Not even I like to think it, but something I recognize that's true is the bigger the challenge, the bigger the goals, the bigger the obstacles, right? Like that's just the way it is, right? When you have big goals, big dreams, you put out, it's like equal and opposite, right? Equal and opposite reactions, right? You put a big goal out there into the universe. This is what I want to accomplish. I want to build 10,000 units of housing for people, affordable housing for people in my city. 10,000 units. That's what I want to build. And you start to act on that and move towards that, there are going to be obstacles naturally that come in place, whether it's financial challenges, right? Whether it's freaking structural challenges. How do you actually build it? Right? You may need more people involved, right? More people involved in a project, the more potential for something to not just go right, yes, because there's more people involved, but the more potential for something to go wrong. Someone can steal money, right? Like tons of challenges. So it's help that needs, and it's help that needs the help, right? It's help that needs help. So you need help, you got a team, but then you need a backup team to help that team. And then like, but that's the beauty of it, is that more people involved, right? The more you build out, not just up, not just hierarchy, like it's me and I gotta rise. No, like I'm here and I need a team around me, right? And I need to be part of a team, right? Because like it's not just you. No matter how great you are, it's not just you. I'm great. It's not just me. No, I'm part of teams, right? I'm leading some teams. I'm part of some other teams where I'm not the leader. But one thing about a leader, a freedom fighter and revolutionary, they're always going to be them. Even if you lead from the back, lead from the side, right? Like we all need to, I like to think, all of us, again, who are human, has a responsibility to even ourselves and our immediate family. In that responsibility, there's other individuals, other families around us, right? And now, again, in our immediate neighborhood, right? And not literally where we live, there are other people around us who we are connected to, whether we want to be connected to them or not. We live next to them, so we have similar challenges, right? In Queensbridge, some of the challenges, no matter how different the income levels are, because the income levels, there are people who are extremely poor in Queensbridge, and there are people who got some money. There are people, because they took the cap off of how much money you can make living in public housing. So there are people making $250,000 a year living in Queensbridge, right? They're paying more rent, of course, right? But because there's no cap on how much you can pay, how much you can make, no, how much you can pay. But there are people, we did research years ago, who make over $100,000. Some was at, I think the largest income we saw 10 years ago was $250,000, people living in Queensbridge. Yet, elevators out of service, being rebuilt, doors not locking, right? Leaks in the ceiling, right? People were living in the same neighborhood, completely different income levels, completely different passions, maybe, right? Same living situation, similar causes. Now, what do? This is the importance of talking to each other. Talk to people. Yo, what challenges are you having? How can I support you? This is support I need. Right? This is what I'm going through. And I get it. A lot of people, I deal with this in my family. A lot of people don't want to speak up about what they're going through because they don't want to feel embarrassed. Oh, again, Queensbridge, I got leaks in my apartment. It's not your fault you got leaks in your apartment. Speak up about that shit. Speak about it. Talk to your neighbors about it. You know, like, you got a leak, the person upstairs may have a leak, right? Like, the person downstairs may have a leak. Talk to people. What can we do about this? The elevator's out of service. You are frustrated and upset that you got to walk up 5-6 flights of stairs with no elevator carrying grocery boxes. You don't think other people are frustrated that they got to walk up 5-6 flights of stairs, 3-4 flights of stairs carrying groceries? Talk about it. Right? This is that revolutionary spirit, not conforming, not just going with what's happening. No, like, this is uncomfortable. This is causing discomfort. This is making me frustrated. And this is what I want to do about it. One supermarket in Queensbridge. My nephew told the story that they bought some ground beef one time. They got home the next day, it was spoiled. The next day. That means it was spoiled when they bought it. Right? And we know that there have been articles that have come out, news articles that come out, where they spray some of this stuff to make it seem fresher. The stuff is rotten, it's spoiling, they take it in the back, they spray it with some stuff, makes it look fresh. You take it home, you buy it, then you open it, you smell like, whoa, this don't smell so good. But how many people are complaining? They're complaining to each other, but what are they doing about it? And again, like, the freedom fighter revolutionary, right? I'm a freedom fighter revolutionary from Queensbridge. I'm in Queensbridge. I can't do everything, and I can't be everywhere at all times. So I'm not going to complain. I'm going to come up with a solution. I recognize the problem. Yo, this in my neighborhood, this is terrible. We need to provide better food. So I start providing food, connect with an organization that can help provide food at a greater scale, and now we're providing food weekly. Where before, when it was just me for years, it would be sporadic because I didn't have the income, and I got other things going on, right? So, like, when I did. Make some sandwiches, go out, feed the people. Right? Make some sandwiches every so often, go out, feed some people. But again, partnership, connecting, speaking about, sharing a similar, like, this is the problem. This is one of the causes that I care about. These are one of the issues I'm having in my life and in my neighborhood. I'm tired of going to the supermarket, right, and buying bullshit. Yeah, I'm tired of the same thing. And they don't live in the neighborhood, right? No one in Connected Chef, right, other than my aunt now, lives in Queensbridge. That means the issue is not just in Queensbridge, right? The issues of lack of affordable food, lack of quality food. It's not just in Queensbridge. It's other people having a similar issue. So now what do? We come together and provide solutions in different neighborhoods. All right? So it's one thing to talk about the problem. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to wait for somebody else to come solve your problem? Again, that is a very specific, widely known problem in Queensbridge, that there is a lack, that the food, yo, listen, you can go to Whole Foods. Whole Foods is expensive, right? Some stuff in there that's expensive. However, you can get a quart of milk for $4. $4. Good almond milk. I'm talking almond milk, right? I'm not talking regular milk. I don't know how much that costs. I haven't priced it in a long time, right? But you get a good 64 size, 64 ounce. What's that? Half a gallon, right? Not even a quart. Half a gallon of almond milk for, I think, $3.99. It's $3.99. I think it's $2.99 something in Trader Joe's, right? But that's a Trader Joe's brand. So let's say you want to get the Almond Breeze brand, right? $4. In Queensbridge, at one point, I don't know about now, but they price gouged so crazy, it was like $7. It was like $7 for the half a gallon of almond milk, almond breeze. $7. Six like $6.89, some shit like that. I was like, I'm not buying this. When I still lived out there, I'm not buying this almond milk. Like, you go up the block, right? Little better store, Key Food, right? Different part of Long Island City, just a few blocks up. You get the gallon, right? You get the gallon for $1 more. For $1 more. Go to Key Food or Trade even. Trade I think I bought the gallon recently. It was like 7 something. But in Queensbridge, the half a gallon was almost $7. So price gouging. Quality of produce is disgusting, right? They got stuff on the shelves that you see is not good. You can see it. You never have to go home. You can look at it and see that this stuff is wilted. This stuff is no good. It's not fresh. What's going on? Oh, nobody's going to do anything. People are just going to complain and still spend their money here. So nobody's going to do anything. So why would we change what we're doing? It's supermarket, right? Business. If I don't care about the community and I know the stuff I have is bad, but the people are still going to buy it, why would I change? If I could get it, if I could spend less money, make greater profit, no one's going to do anything about it, why would I change? This is the importance of waking up that freedom fighting revolutionary spirit inside of each and every one of us, right? As many as possible. Because the freedom fighters and revolutionaries that live in Queensbridge, that come to Queensbridge, can't do everything, can't be everywhere at all times. Right? So even if we organize the protest of the supermarket, right? Even if we organize the protest of the supermarket, people got to sustain it. The challenge is that everybody's waiting for somebody else to do it. It's a problem that's been going on for centuries. Who's the leader? You are the leader, like you. You guys are the leaders. You guys have a responsibility to step up and to fight for your own liberation, for your own salvation, for your own right to be respected and to have quality food. We're still talking about food, to have quality food, to have adequate housing. People's ceilings are falling apart and they're still paying rent. No elevators, still paying rent. I said, yo, we bought lawyers, housing lawyers and housing activists to Queensbridge and said, listen, people, you have a right, right? If you're leased, there's an agreement. You signed the lease. You live in public housing, you signed the lease. There's an agreement. You're going to pay a certain amount of money, but certain services are going to be upheld. If those services are not being upheld, you have a legal right to withhold rent. You have a legal right. You think most people who got issues in Queensbridge have been rent striking? No. My own mother ain't rent striking. My own mother, I've been rent striking for a long time, right? Not living in public housing, but I've been rent striking for a long time. Why? Because I learned that, like, I don't got to keep paying rent if I'm not living in adequate conditions. In Queensbridge, heat go out. No gas in people's apartments, right? And that's separate from the leaks. You do not have to pay rent. But then this comes to people's fear of retaliation, people's fear of what if I lose my, and I get it. A certain level of comfortability, you don't want to lose it. But there are people who have complained about scraps. Oh, these crumbs they give us. And you still want to stay there. You're gonna complain about the problem, still live in it with the problem. Do nothing about it. Even when you got people around you. Listen, there was a few people in Queensbridge who sued my man Donnelly, right? Housing activist, housing lawyer, took up some lawsuits for some people. They won some money. They was able to, they rent striked, right? They didn't have to pay, end up not having to pay him back rent, right? And got a couple $1,000s for their troubles. Couple $1,000s for their troubles. And they didn't have to pay a lawyer. The lawyer was free. Well, the lawyer was free. But that number was so small. Queensbridge, Ravenswood, and Astoria houses. Small number. Astoria houses, there was a whole lot of apartments that didn't have gas for over a year. I was part of a coalition right, who was outside of that building feeding people 2-3 times a week sometimes, because the management would give them hot plates, single hot plates too, not even the hot plates that got double, single hot plates. They give them hot plates to cook. I remember one lady came downstairs crying. She was crying because she said it's Thanksgiving. She got her grandchildren with her children and grandchildren are with her, and she cannot cook a Thanksgiving meal on that single hot plate. She was crying. What the hell am I supposed to do? One thing we told her, like, number one, like, all right, connect with neighbors, right? Talk to neighbors, right? Like, talk to your people, figure out what you can do together, right? Organize, right? Talk to your people, because it was just one line. It wasn't like the whole building. It was one line of apartments. I think it was like D or something like that, right? So like the other people in the apartments on your own floor, they got gas. Talk to them, right? And people ended up talking to each other, and again, that building, they ended up like coming together, and right. But we people did not live in the story houses because we care. Because we care, we have a right. We have a right and the responsibility and the obligation to step up for our neighbors. So we was in Astoria daily, again, 2-3 times a week sometimes. And some people was even more than that, right? Some people was going door to door at nighttime bringing food, right? Every night, connecting with churches and local pantries and going every night, right? For a couple of weeks at a time. But as a whole, 2-3 times a week outside with hot plates, out bringing food, cooked food from home, right? And we all contributed because our neighbors. But a lot of those people, even with no gas, were still paying rent. Scared to lose their apartments, scared of retaliation from nature. Which happens. Retaliation happens. Retaliation happens. We marched, walked, but we marched across the street from my mother's apartment. Right, a few of us, myself and a few friends who were running for different offices a couple years ago, we went to that management office and demanded that they come to my mother's apartment. Demanded it. And then you know what happened? After a year and some change of this leak in my mother's ceiling in the bathroom and ceiling falling apart, we marched and demanded. Said, you will not get another dime. Now my mother wasn't like, she was scared about rent striking, right? But once we threatened they would not get another dime, right? And then we were going to sue. That afternoon, they came and fixed my mother's bathroom. That afternoon, no bullshit. My mother would tell you that afternoon, they sent somebody there and fixed the bathroom. Now, they did a bullshit job, right? Because like, it's not quality, right? So a year or so later, a few months later, the problem came back. But they did something about it that day. When they were pressed, we pressed them, right? We did not just walk away when they said, oh, we're on the phone, oh, so the people are not here. No, get them down here. We're going to bring the news. We're going to make this a huge thing. They found whoever they needed to find to get the job done that afternoon. All right. They started the work. They didn't finish the whole thing, but they started the work that afternoon and they finished it within about a week. Fixed the bathroom, fixed other things in the apartment, painted and all of that stuff. Again, terrible job. So the problem came back. Right. And my mother ended up still paying the rent. Right. So like, but like this spirit, this is a fearless spirit, a spirit of courage. This is the spirit of God. All right. The spirit of Christ lives inside of you. All right. Do something, right? The spirit of Malcolm X, right? The spirit of any great leader who lived in the past, who you have respect for, who you admire, across cultures, races, and religions. That energy is still inside of you. That energy exists inside of you. What are you going to do with it? How much longer are you going to complain about the conditions that you are experiencing? Not just that other people, the conditions out there, the conditions that you are experiencing in your own home, in your own life. Inadequate health care. Right? Inadequate health care. Inadequate health care and food that's causing the health problems. Food causing the health problems and inadequate health care go hand in hand. They're working hand in hand. Understand, you do not have to be on chronic medication or you don't have to deal with chronic illness and be on medication for your whole life. You don't have to. Nobody has to. Nobody has to. I told the story of my homegirl, right? Powerful sister, brilliant sister, right? Talented, right? All of the things. It has an illness. It says, oh, it's going to be forever. because the doctor said. In the research that she's done, right, cognitive bias, right, the research that she's done shows that it's going to be forever. How we think. I like to think that any ailment that my body develops, I can alleviate with proper attention and intention. Right? So my foot drop, it has gotten better. I'm going to continue. It can get a lot better. And I'm figuring it out. All right. I gotta give more attention to it and be more intentional about what I put in my body, the exercises I do daily. Right. But there is nothing, I believe that there is nothing that the human body, whether it develops inside or outside, that cannot be alleviated. There's tons of stories. Spinal injuries. So you need surgery, you need major surgery, you're never gonna be able to walk again. And people walk again without surgery. Right? And their spines become right. Tons of stories. A whole documentary I showed my mother called Heal, right, on Amazon Prime. Tons of stories of people who healed themselves, given proper attention and intention. Visualizing, meditation, right, diet changes, lifestyle changes, right, little by little, little by little, little by little. Right, my aunt she's been on some asthma medication and other medication for a decade damn near. Right now, she's not fully vegan at all, but she started to eat more whole foods, more plant-based foods, and she's able to get off some of that medication. She had she had hip surgery, right? She said when the doctor spoke about how fast she recovered and asked her, like, what was she doing? And she was talking about how a lot of times, right, she eats plant-based food, like, and she cut out a lot of other things. She said that was a big part of why you heal so fast. Your diet plays a major part of how your body responds to injury, to illness, right? So, again, a revolutionary spirit, a freedom fighter is not simply someone who's out there yelling and screaming, right? It's not someone who has a bunch of people with them. You don't have to have a large following. You don't have to have a following at all to be a revolutionary. You in your own life can revolt against the customs, against what's customary, against what's normally and widely accepted. And I like to say one of the easiest ways, one of the best ways, one of the simplest ways to revolt is what you can put on your plate. All right, what you control. You have 100% control of that. We don't have, let me see. Prison industrial complex, a lot of times, is outside of individual, right, control. Public housing is out of individual. It takes a lot of us, right, to, now each one person plays a role, but it takes a lot of people to create change, right, in public housing, right? Whether we talk about the quality or the affordability, right? It's a huge fight. It's a big fight, right? Big institutions, big organizations, big companies, big real estate, right? It takes a lot of people to take that down, but it takes one person at a time, right? Each one person that either stops paying rent, right? Rent strikes when the conditions are inadequate. One person that the affordability, like they challenge the affordability, right? Each one person contributes to the whole. Those are fights that take time, take a lot of organizing. But the fight of your health, that's all you. That's individual. Choose to put something different on your plate. Now, again, staying with food and health, the freaking terrible produce at the supermarket in Queensbridge, right? Either having to go up the block to Key Food, Trade Fair, or even City Fresh, right? Again, a little bit better. I would go to Trader Joe's, right? Before Trader Joe's was in Long Island City, I would go to Trader Joe's in Fairway on 23rd Street with my children, daughter in a stroller, even before like being a dad, but with my children, daughter in a stroller, son walking, right? Like son 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, daughter in a stroller, baby, newborn, 1 year, 2 years. We're going to Trader Joe's on the train, carrying a stroller, 23rd Street, no elevator, carrying a stroller up the stairs, down the stairs. I tell the story, right? When I go there and I shop, I learned the trick of like flipping the handles of the bag up. Why? Because so many times coming from Trader Joe's with a lot of stuff in the bags would break. And now I'm struggling, stuffing stuff under the stroller, stuffing stuff in the baby bag, right? And then sometimes it's too much stuff, right? It all don't fit there because the stuff already under the stroller, right? And now I'm asking somebody for a bag. And again, I'm grateful that a lot of times when those things happen, again, it's one thing I love about New York is that like people will ignore you, people may cuss you out. But if you need help, people will help you. People see you in the street struggling for the most part, right? Yeah, some people are gonna walk by you, but there's always gonna be somebody, 1, 2, 3 people out of the 100 that walk by that will stop and ask you if you need help. And they're gonna have something. Somebody one time went in their car, they had a bag, pulled the stuff out of their bag in their car and gave me a bag. They had a bag. It's hold on, I got you. I'm gonna help you. Right? Like we near the crossing the street. Person stops and they pulled the stuff out the bag in their car and gave me a bag. I remember one time this late, this was the craziest experience. Struggling, right? Bag breaks, right? Got a bag, put the stuff, struggling. I'm frustrated, right? I'm frustrated. You can see the frustration in my face as I'm like, I shouldn't have to come all the way to Trader Joe's, right? In the city to get what we need as a family because like health was important to us, right? Health was important, right? Like for me, my ex-wife, right? For us and our children, health was important. We wanted to give ourselves, but our children the best quality food. We found that Trader Joe's has the best quality food, stuff super fresh, stuff affordable, right? Like able to spend $100 and get a lot of stuff, $120 and get a lot more stuff. Whereas you spend $120 in Queensbridge, you spend $120 over there, like it's like half of what you got from Trader Joe's, right? This lady needed help. She, I believe, was homeless, right? She had 2 big carts, right? Needed help. So I'm like, damn, I can't just leave her, right? So, all right, hold on. I'm gonna help you, sister. So I carried a stroller, right, to the bottom of the stairs. I'm right there. Carry the stroller to the bottom of the stairs, right? I tell my son, stay right here with your sister. I'm going right to the top of the stairs to help this woman, right? I go to the top of the stairs, help her with her cart to get carts downstairs, right? It was a slow process. I think 2 F trains came and went, right? I'm like, damn. But I gotta help this sister, right? Now, she asked my name, right? We talked for a few minutes, and now we waiting for the train, right? Talk for a few minutes, right? I forgot she asked me something that made me end up like I started talking about my phone, and I needed more money to pay my phone bill, right? This woman gave me $50, right? My phone bill was $56, right? My phone was off, right? She gave me $50 and said, "Here, pay your phone bill." And mind, she put out a knot of money. She had a knot. I was like, holy shit, right? Did I judge? And now, again, she had 2 big carts, right, with clothes and stuff in it, right? She had a lot of clothes on. So assessment was that she was homeless. But one thing I know is that not all homeless people are poor, right? Some people choose to live on the streets for whatever reason, right? Again, so everybody doesn't want to live in this system. Everybody doesn't want to live in a high-rise apartment. Everybody doesn't want to live. Some people want to live in a tiny home. Some people want to live in a small home where they don't got to contribute to the rent, to the water, to all that stuff. They just want to like. And so, but they give me $50 to pay my phone bill. I was like, holy shit, all right. But again, just the power of people when you do good, right? When you help people, right? When you say, okay, like I'm not going to allow this sister to just struggle because of whatever the reason. I'm having a tough time, right? But like part of revolutionary spirit is simply doing the right thing and helping your neighbor, helping the people you see walk by every day. Right? That's part of it. Again, it doesn't always have to be this grand thing of, we shut this thing down. We destroyed this thing. No, part of revolutionary spirit and freedom fighting is building relationships, connecting to people, like fostering more love, more harmony, right? Between individuals, right? It's in your everyday actions. It's not in what you do once a week. It's not in just a protest and yelling and shouting and marching and holding signs. Nah, how do you interact with the people who you pass every day? Right. So when I speak about the revolutionary spirit, specifically in that regard, society will have us ignore each other. Right. You got to get where you got to go. You got your own problems. One of my brothers called me the other night, right? Having a challenge, right? And then he stopped himself in the middle. Was like, nah, I know you got your own problems. Oh, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, you are my brother, number one. Number two, we both, right? Not just my brother because like we're black men, right? Because we have similar. No, we have a similar. We are ethnically, right? Like the same. We both practice these 7 principles of Kwanzaa in our daily lives, right? Collective work and responsibility to make the problems of your brother and your sister your problems. So your problems are my problems. My problems are your problems. Too many times, individually, we think that we got to help solve everybody else's problems, but we don't want nobody helping us solve our problems. We don't want to put a burden on nobody, but we allow people to put a burden on us. Oh no, I'm gonna help everybody with everything else. That was me. I helped everybody with everything else, and I ain't have money to get on the bus to go to Long Island. When I lived in Long Island, I had to walk home too many times, 3 times, 4 times, too many. To walk from Jamaica, Queens, 179th Street and Hillside Avenue, to Surrey Lane in Hempstead, down the whole Hempstead Turnpike, right? Through that Queens Village area, through Elmont, right? To West Hempstead, to Hempstead, right? It's freaking 3-hour, 4-hour walk sometimes. Walk one time in the snow. Again, not a huge snowstorm, thankfully, but steady snow on the ground. Walk home. Why? Because I'm helping everybody else. Forget it. Help the community. I'm helping the community. Forgetting that I am part of the community. And it's okay for me to ask for what I need. Right? One time specifically, never forget, in the Bronx, they needed water. Right? Somebody, you should go to the store and get some water. I could have been like, I don't got the money, give me the money. But I had like $6-7, right? I go buy water. And then buying water, now I don't got money to get home. But I can hop the train, right? We're going to hop the train to get back to Queens. And I'm going to hope that the bus driver lets me on the bus. But those N6 bus drivers, they're not city bus drivers, right? So they like, no. Again, a few times, definitely, right? Like, let me on the bus. But shit, a few times, like, no. And it's late. And the bus comes every 40 minutes. And do I wait 40 plus? Sometimes it takes longer than that. Do I wait 40 something minutes for another bus, potentially to tell me no as well? And now I'm cold, I'm freezing. Where do I just start walking? And in my head, it won't always be like this. It won't always be like this. It will not always be like this. I will be able to afford not just bus fare, not just train fare, but I will be able to afford Uber fare if I need it. And eventually, I will have a car, right? Eventually, I will live in a way where this is never an issue again, right? Like, it's tough, but like, ask for help. Right, it's part of like freedom fighting. Is to say, hey, listen, we're in this together. I do not have to do it alone. If I am putting out, then it's okay for me to receive, and it's okay for me to ask for help. We gotta let go of that pride. We have to let go of that pride. I get it, pride. Like, no, I'm proud of like my upkeep, and I need to present a certain way. But you're outward presenting a certain way, and you're struggling internally. Right? I've been around a few people who do a lot for others, showing up, cooking for others, and then they're home crunching numbers. How I'm gonna pay this bill? How I'm gonna pay this bill? I don't got money for this bill. In my family. In my family. I'm not talking about nobody else's family. In my family. I've been around other people, right? But in my own family, people are helping everybody else. Helping the church, helping the neighbor, right? Watching these children, right? Doing all of this stuff, driving this person over here, right? But then they're at the table, stressed the fuck out because they don't got money to pay their mortgage. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. It's okay to understand that when we talk about helping the community, we are part of the community. And it's okay to need help sometimes. Right now, food stamp cut. Right now, there are federal workers, government shutdown, who have not been paid. And they're on the line at the food pantry. The news interview, I think Channel 7, Channel 4, Channel 11, stories are out. They have food pantries interviewing people who never thought this could be done. Well, now they're at the food pantries. Some of them, same food pantries, they condemned other people for being that. Now they're there. Again, thankful that their pride didn't keep them from asking for help, going to get help, right? You and your family need food and you ain't been getting paid for work, go get the food. Don't allow yourself and your children to starve because of your pride. Go get what you need. And then going forward, let us stop judging each other in that way. Let us stop criticizing each other. We all need help at different times. I know I've needed a lot of help. I've needed financial help. I've needed food. I had to go at one point, probably because I didn't even know where the food pantries were in Long Island City, Astoria, right? So for whatever reason, I didn't look it up. But I knew that my man had a pantry in Mount Vernon, and he was my man. And I knew that I could go up to Mount Vernon and get a lot of food, whereas in Queensbridge, Astoria, right, again, I didn't even really know where they were. But like in my head, it was like, they're gonna judge me. All right, so not wanting to be judged. All right, not wanting to be judged. I went up to Mount Vernon a few times to get a lot of food for my man. He had a lot of stuff. Right, and I didn't mind because it was, train ride and a short bus ride. It was a long train ride, that 2 train, right? Then a short bus ride. It wasn't deep in Mount Vernon, but it was Mount Vernon. Right, short bus ride. Get a bunch of groceries, 2 huge bags full. Drives me to the train. I'm struggling to get on the train, right? But I'm satisfied, like I got food for my family. My family is not going to starve. Married at the time, 3 children, right? We're not going to starve. Some food to give to other people, right? My mama, she wants something. We got some stuff for you too, mama, if you need. Right? A neighbor, they can come ask for something that can, we got enough. And I know that if I need, I can go back next week. But like, it would be once a month because we had a lot of stuff. It lasted. I had a couple dollars to buy stuff. So like, but it's okay to accept help. It's okay to need help. Right? Recognize in yourself, right? When you need help, ask for help, accept help, and commit to figuring out how do you put yourself in a better position, right? To provide for yourself and to provide for your family and to provide more for your community, right? So again, when I speak about the importance of the freedom fighter and revolutionary that exists in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our states, in the world, who is important to support, I'm also talking about the spirit in you and revolutionary, right? Revolutionize, right? It's a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things, right? You revolutionize something. It's not always loud, it's not always big. Sometimes it's subtle change. And sometimes it just looks like asking for help. When the world wants us to be individuals, when the world wants us to just be focused on you, and you got to get through it alone, and you made your bed, you got to lay in it. The revolutionary way of thinking is saying, yeah, we need each other. We're in this together. We have a collective working responsibility, right? We can self-determine, right? Like, and self-determine doesn't just mean, again, individually. Like, no, we can self-determine how we want, where we want our destiny to be and how we want it to look. And I and a lot of people around me want it to look like unity, want it to look like more love, more support, right? Where everybody's needs are met. Basic food, clothing, shelter, right? Also basic, some would say sub-basic, mental health, emotional well-being, right? Physical health, right? Like health, sense of belonging, right? Those are not secondary needs. Those are also basic needs. You need not only simply food, clothing, and shelter to live and to feel whole. You need to belong. You need to feel like you are part of something. You are part of a human family. You are part of a community. You are part of a family. You are seen, heard, loved. You are seen, heard, and valued. You need to feel that. Emotional well-being, sound mental health is extremely important parts of your basic needs. And so this is important, right? The freedom fighter, right? It's not only the person out there yelling outside, the person chanting, the person marching, right? It's not only the person with the big organization, right? Either that they're running or that they're part of. Revolutionary spirit, right? Revolutionary is not just the person that's saying F the police, right? It's not just that person, right? It's not just the political prisoner, right? It's the everyday man and woman, boy and girl, who is living life outside of the norm, who is living life outside of how society tells us we should live or tells them how they should live, right? The revolutionary, the freedom fighter is not just the person who is loud and scream, the person who's writing letters. It's the person who's calling up their local congresswoman, their local congressman, the person who's calling their public housing office and saying, hey, what's up with these elevators? When are they going to be fixed? What's up with these doors? When are they going to be fixed? What's up with my apartment? Right? That's also a freedom fighter. That's also a revolutionary. And so may we all have that spirit awakened within us. That spirit lives inside you. That is the spirit of God. That is the spirit of the divine. That is the spirit of justice. That is the spirit of truth. That is the spirit of love. That is the spirit of peace. That is the spirit of freedom. Each and every one of us who are alive today has the right, the responsibility, and the obligation to fight, if not only for everyone else's freedom, but for your own freedom, for your own salvation, and for your own liberation. Each of us has that right, that responsibility, because it is no one else's right, no one else's job to fight for you. But it is, because we all have the responsibility to fight for each other. But you got to be involved in your own salvation. Thank you for listening, family. That is our show. We are going to burn some Palo Santo and get into a meditation this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I hope that I said something that made some sense to you. I hope I said something that sparked something inside of you. I hope I reminded you of your power. You have a lot of power. You're more powerful than you think. You're more powerful than you know. You are extremely powerful. Regardless of what your position is, what your economic position is, what your health situation is, what your education level is, what your housing situation is. All of those things are like transient. You have a spirit inside of you. You have a mind, right? You have a brain, right? You have consciousness, right? With that alone, you can transform any situation that you are in. Your physical health, emotional health, mental health, food, clothing, shelter, housing situation, right? The quality of food in your neighborhood. You can change all of that by getting active. So get active. So let's meditate. Take a few moments, get comfortable. If you are laying, be in a comfortable laying position. If you are sitting, get comfortable. Allow your feet to be planted firmly on the floor beneath you. Allow your back to be straightened by the chair behind you. Allow your arms to rest gently in your lap or by your side. Allow your head to lean forward so that your chin is in your chest. And allow your eyes to close ever so softly. And just take a few moments to feel your breath. To feel the rise and fall of your abdomen. To recognize that this breath that is flowing through your body is indeed life itself. Acknowledge that simply because you are alive, you have the right to live abundantly. Recognize and acknowledge that that right to live abundantly will not simply be given to you. Understand and accept the truth that there are people who do not want you to live abundantly based on many different factors. Could be because of the color of your skin, could be because of your gender, could be because of where you live, could be because of the family that you come from, could be because of how much money you make or don't make. There are many reasons why some people do not believe that you have the right to live abundantly. And so they will restrict resources from you. They will make it tough for you to access some basic human needs. But in this meditation, as you breathe, And as you acknowledge that the breath that is coursing through your body is indeed the source of life itself. And as you are honest with yourself and admitting that there are people who do not want you to live, let alone live abundantly, may you also recognize that the spirit inside of you is greater than anything that anyone outside of you can restrict. So allow your spirit for justice to come forth. Allow your spirit of righteousness to come forth. Allow your spirit of love to come forth. Allow the spirit of peace for you to be centered in your mind, in your body, in your soul, as you invoke the spirit of liberation. May you move forward with purpose. May you move forward with passion. May you move forward with courage. May you move forward with faith. Faith in yourself. Faith in the freedom fighters and revolutionaries amongst you. Faith that your highest vision, God's vision for your life and for the lives of your people, faith that that vision will manifest so long as you and each person connected to you do their part. So may you take the responsibility for your own liberation and for your own freedom and salvation. And may you take the responsibility to do the work to awaken that spirit within your brothers and your sisters, your sons and your daughters, your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, and even your parents. May we walk together. May we fight together. May we get free together. Know that you are loved. Know that you are cherished. Know that you are sacred and you are adored. You are stronger than you think. You are more powerful than you know. And you are greater than you can ever imagine. I love you. I love you. I love you. Ashe. When you're ready, you can slowly begin to open your eyes, wiggle your toes, move your fingers, give yourself a neck roll. Come back to the space. Thank you. Listen. Be courageous. Be faithful. Be open-minded and open-hearted. And believe, without doubt, that your will be done. Ashe, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please do join us next week, same time, same place, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live for our next installment of Sunday Light. Have a great week. Peace.